It almost feels like there's a civil war brewing within this fan base. Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams. I've been a Chicago Bears fan most of my life, and I've seen this fan base fight over quarterbacks almost every single year. I remember Cordell Stewart starting games here. I watched Rex Grossman versus Kyle Orton debates, the Jay Cutler versus Josh McCown years, Mitch Trubisky versus Nick Foles, and even watched guys like Chad Hutchinson, Jonathan Quinn, and Craig Krenzel quarterback this team. And that is just naming a few where we'd be here all day long. My point is that we've always had some disconnect within our fan base, but I've never seen it as bad as it currently is. I believe the Chicago Bears are in the best position they've been in since 2005. This roster is full of young ascending talent all over the place, and we have more future draft capital than we've had in a 3-year period in my entire lifetime. Things are looking up for this franchise, but after back-to-back losing seasons, with the new coaching staff, it sometimes doesn't feel that way. Fans want instant gratification, and a lot of people are not happy with how these last 2 years have went post Matt Nagy. We were supposed to get better without Nagy, right? But Ryan Poles chose to tear the team down and try to fix this team's mistakes with a real rebuild. It's 2023 and we are still paying for Ryan Pace's mistakes. We didn't have a first-round pick last year, and half of the salary cap was used to pay players that weren't even on the roster, like Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. Not to mention, we were still paying Jimmy Graham, Nick Foles, and Andy Dalton. This year, we are still paying Danny Trevathan, Tariq Cohen, Robert Quinn, and others that aren't on the roster. Ryan Pace has been gone for 2 years now, and we're still paying for his past mistakes. And a lot of people just don't realize how bad our cap situation was, or that we had only made one first-round pick in the last 5 years before picking Darnell Wright this season. I understand we haven't won enough games yet, we haven't beat the Packers yet, and all of us fans are tired of seeing this team lose. But you simply can't ignore the fact that this team is now in one of the best positions in the entire NFL when it comes to future draft capital and flexibility moving forward. If Ian Cunningham gets hired as a GM this offseason, that's 2 more third-round picks coming our way. For the first time maybe in my whole life, if we do move on from Eberflus, this would be the top destination in the league for potential head coaches. We have a ton of young talent, 2 first-round picks, and tons of cap space moving forward. But this is where fans have become really divided. There's a very loud minority of Bears fans that are rooting against our team and rooting against our quarterback. A lot of the media has fell for it as well. Let me explain what happened here because I've watched the entire thing play out. A lot of fans overhyped the 2023 Chicago Bears. I predicted this team would win between 7 and 10 games. Even though the season hasn't went exactly how we thought, they are on pace to win 8 or 9 games, right where I expected them to be. Already doubling last year's win total and being close to tripling it. But people like Ghost of Judah and Pete from Twitter predicted we would be Super Bowl contenders this year and that Justin Fields was an MVP candidate in 2023. Now this part is really important, guys. I'm one of Justin's biggest supporters, but I never once said he was an MVP candidate this season or that I expected the Bears to be Super Bowl contenders. It's important to have realistic expectations and use logic and not create narratives. This is where the delusion exists, and I mention those 2 names specifically because it's those same 2 people that were putting MVP expectations on our quarterback this year that are now calling him Bustin' Fields and clamoring for Caleb Williams. It shows a fundamental lack of understanding of the game of football. The narratives continue getting exposed. I love Caleb Williams as a prospect, but I don't fall for overhype. The funniest part of the whole thing is that Caleb Williams has most of the same issues that Fields has. He fumbles the ball too much, he holds the ball too long, and he doesn't throw with anticipation. Yet these guys compared Tyson Bagent to Tom Brady when Fields got hurt. While Fields was out, Bagent threw 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So let's dig deeper into that and expose another narrative. These same guys that bash Justin Fields, they continue using his record as the main thing to bring him down. Wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat. Smart fans know that. And the problem is, after they did this, Caleb Williams started losing games. He went 0-5 versus top 25 teams this year, and that caused the detractors to have to pivot and move the goalposts. And now people are having fun with those guys and using their same arguments against them. It's been really fun to watch. Last night added on more to it as Caleb Williams skipped the bowl game because he's most likely preparing for the NFL draft. Well, guess what? USC played another top 25 team, and the backup quarterback went off, setting a USC bowl record with 6 touchdown passes and getting them their first win versus a top 25 team all year long. It's crazy that the backup quarterback came in. They were also missing 2 starting receivers, and he threw 6 touchdowns and had a better game in his first start than Caleb had all year long. I'm not knocking Caleb Williams. I think that's the biggest misunderstanding with this. I'm not trying to tear the dude down. I love him as a prospect. I'm simply using the same metrics and arguments that people use against Justin Fields and then applying them to the guy they believe is clearly better than Justin and Caleb Williams. It sucks because I like Caleb. He's a young kid who doesn't deserve to be called out because of narratives. But we have to disprove these narratives that people are throwing around. There are reasons for this. People say Justin Fields can't win, and they blame him for all the Bears' losses when he's had insane instability and horrible play from the defense and offensive line for most of his career. But then after Caleb Williams started losing, those same people knocking Justin Fields then started using the same excuses that Caleb doesn't have a defense and he doesn't have receivers. If those are excuses for Justin Fields, then they have to be excuses for Caleb Williams as well. You simply have to be fair with it. Also, when Fields' backup came in and started 4 games, the offense got worse. Luckily, our defense got better and we added Montez Sweat. But when Caleb Williams skips a bowl game, his offense has its best outing of the entire season. Imagine for a minute if Tyson Bagent would have came in and thrown 6 touchdowns in his first start like Caleb's backup did last night. We already have fans comparing Tyson Bagent to Tom Brady. I don't even know what kind of madness would have ensued. These people want to tell you that we're Justin Fields fans and not Bears fans. Meanwhile, these same people are rooting for the Packers to win and want the Packers to beat us in 2 weeks. I could never root against my own football team or quarterback and then tell other people that they aren't fans. They also say that we hate Caleb Williams. That's simply not true. I don't hate any football players. Now, these dudes that do hate Justin Fields, they root for him to get hurt and continue calling him Bustin' Fields. It's weird, it's disrespectful, and it's hateful. I am a fan of Caleb Williams. If we draft him, I'll buy his jersey and root for him. I simply believe it's better for our franchise to keep Justin Fields, and I've given thousands of reasons why. I'm not even against drafting a quarterback. I think we could get Marvin Harrison Jr. or 2 awesome prospects in round 1 and then add another quarterback on day 2 if that's what we want to do. I think Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix could all fall a lot further than people think once we get to draft day. I blame most of this on social media. Giving every single person in their mom's basement a voice was probably not the best idea, but things have gotten out of control for Bears fans. Our media is harassing Justin Fields in press conferences.
The day I get a positive question from you is the day that I'm going to be happy.
Nah, you good? You good? All right, bet.
Asking the same questions 4 times in a row has to be the most head-scratching thing I've seen. We have fans rooting for our QB to get hurt and the Packers to win. We have the same guys who thought Fields would win MVP now calling him bustin'. And this is all in a week after the Bears just won a football game. This is madness. I've never seen our fan base this unhappy after a win. And I'm sorry because most of the people who watch my videos are not a part of that craziness, but I also know that a lot of you still see it as well. So I felt like I had to address it. I actually have spent a lot of time watching Caleb Williams All-22 film, and I have some content coming once we get to the off season. season. But to me, the future of the Chicago Bears is as bright as I've ever seen it, and I'm excited. I will also be rooting for this team no matter who is at quarterback leading them next season. I put a lot more work into this than most people realize. I don't just say anything for clicks or make videos without researching and thinking logically about any situation. I then spend hours editing almost every single video to get them as short and to the point as possible and to cut out all mistakes and dead air. I simply believe that Justin Fields is best for this team's future going forward. It's okay if you disagree with that, but the future is still bright regardless. I hope we as fans can get better at disagreeing at football takes without being disrespectful. I miss talking about football without people getting in their feelings if you disagreed with them. This weekend, the Bears have a chance to lock up the #1 pick. If the Jags can beat the Panthers this weekend, we will lock up the #1 pick for back-to-back years. Let me know what your thoughts are in the offseason or anything I've talked about today. Please remember to hit that like button for me, and until next time, bear down.